Hello and welcome to Nationwide, live from the NTA. I am Dennis Adegunle. We'll begin with security-related matters. The Chief of Defence Staff, General Christopher Busa, says the military is on standby and will act appropriately in view of the violence experienced in the nationwide protests. The Chief of Defence Staff stated this while addressing media at the Defence headquarters in Abuja.
Let us avoid anything that will bring mayhem within our communities. Yesterday, we have seen the level of destruction that has been carried out just yesterday. And so you can imagine if this continues for so long, the armed forces and the entire military security agencies will not stand by and see that to continue. Anyone that is caught will be taken to the courts to be dealt with. Together, I can assure you, we are going to win, and we are winning. And at least from today, we have seen the level that it has really gone down. Most state governors that decide to declare a state of emergency have called it off. And working together as Nigerians for Nigeria will succeed.
General Christopher Busa, the Chief of Defence Staff. In the meantime, the Nigeria Police Force has placed all its commands, formations and units on red alert, and officers have been fully mobilized to respond swiftly and decisively to any threats to public safety and order. Francis Form reports that the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, disclosed this at a media briefing in Abuja.
The police is equipped to respond appropriately to the unfolding situations and will get assistance from other security agencies, including the military, if the need arises. We appeal to all citizens to remain calm and cooperate with the police and other security agencies during this challenging period. Your safety is our top priority, and we will continue to take all necessary measures to ensure continued peace and stability in our country.
The IGP also reminded groups who are hiding under the guise of exercising their constitutional right of assembly to destabilize the country should remember that the same constitution imposed on them the duty to obey the laws of the land and respect the rights of other citizens. And on his part, the Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has warned against the escalation of the protest embarked upon by some Nigerians as hoodlums have started taking advantage of it to carry out their nefarious activities. Addressing a cross-section of protesters at the Kano government house, the governor also appealed for more patience as government is working towards making life better for Nigerians. Abdullahi Mustafa has details.
It started peacefully in the early hours of the day. Shortly, however, hoodlums joined, looting and vandalizing public assets. At the entrance to the Kano government house, security personnel repelled attempts by some protesters to force themselves into the premises. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf thereafter came out to listen to them. While urging them to remain law-abiding, the governor assured that appropriate action will be taken by the government to address the situation.
So I know where the problem is, and I know where you want the information to go. I thank you most humbly.
Governor Yusuf also appealed to parents to prevent their children from joining the protest in view of the negative consequences the activities of hoodlums may cause in the process. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
And the Jigawa state government has declared a 24-hour curfew from midnight Thursday till further notice. The state governor, Umar Namadi, in a statewide broadcast, says the curfew is to nip in the bud any unforeseen destruction that may trail the nationwide protest being infiltrated by hoodlums in the state.
Today we woke up with a series of protests that is part of our culture and that is not part of our tradition. And we feel that this protest will not be the solution to what people are demanding or asking for. We believe that there is nobody in this world that can put hardship on you, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's only Allah that can rescue you from that hardship. Therefore, protest is not a solution and it will not be a solution. We realize that how people use young, small boys to achieve their objective of vandalizing and stealing people's property. This is not part of our culture and it's not part of our tradition. Therefore, we feel as a government, we should not allow this thing to continue unabated. As a result of that, we are introducing a 24-hour curfew in Jigawa state. And this curfew will continue up to the time we have reviewed the situation again with the security agencies and we feel it's time to relax it. We pray that people will obey this curfew and ensure they stay at home and observe the curfew. I want to use this opportunity to thank our traditional institutions, thank our ulamas for their support and for the way they call on people to restrain from this kind of protest. We pray that Allah will continue to give us peace in Jigawa and in Nigeria in general.
Umar Namadi urges the citizens in the state to be law-abiding, as anyone found wanting will face the wrath of the law. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has advised protesters to confine their convergence to the MKO Abiola Stadium as directed by the court. This came after an emergency meeting with security agencies and area council chairman. Aisha Uba Ali reports.
Minister who called for an emergency meeting with security agencies, area council chairman and the head of FCT Civil Service says the government is aware of the demands of the protesters and is gradually acting on them. In the meantime, he warns protesters to respect court orders and remain at the Moshood Abiola Stadium.
We have come out to say clearly that one of the reasons government is appealing to you not to carry this protest, that we believe some miscreants will take advantage and cause mayhem and cause destruction of property within their city. See what has happened in most of the states today.
He notes that the agreement was to carry out a peaceful protest as security agencies in the FCT will not allow people to take laws into their hands and cause mayhem for FCT populace. He, however, commends the FCT residents who have decided to stay away from the protest venues to give peace and dialogue a chance. In Abuja, Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
Now, genuine protesters have been urged to call off the nationwide protest in view of the hijack by hoodlums perpetrating lawlessness in some parts of the country. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria are emphatic that no one stands to gain if criminals continue looting, destroying individual and government infrastructure. They urge the protesters to articulate their demands for proactive engagement with all tiers of government. Lydia Sampson has the report.
Guests on Good Morning Nigeria condemned the unfortunate mayhem by some criminal elements who took cover under the projected nationwide peaceful protest to disrupt peace. The guests say strategic communication at the federal and subnationals, as well as engagement with the people for more understanding of proactive government initiatives, is key.
When crises like this are happening and people are saying, no, there is no need for it, it is because the situation, the existential realities, feeds into these things and makes it a bit difficult. Okay. Because even everybody is affected. No, but what we are saying is that perhaps there is hope, if we incrementally reform, to get us out of this.
What are we doing to be able to get out of it? For instance, if you are removing the oil subsidy, it means you are also saving a lot of funds for infrastructural development to be able to create an environment that will be able to lead to the establishment of a lot of industries and attract a lot of foreign investment that will also engage the youths and the women. So They need to have confidence in all of this.
They are optimistic this will help in dousing the tension while requiring genuine protesters calling off the protest.
The youth should know that if today is destroyed, their future will be very, very bleak. So they should therefore work how to promote peace, to build a sustainable development, and governance all about the people. Our leadership, governance all about the people. Governance is not just about who controls power, who dominates. No, you empower the people.
Strategic communication by
continuous
government
strategic
officials.
communication.
Yes, because strategic communication is two ways. You say, you listen, you analyze what you've heard, and then you put out. And all government officials should be joined, should understand the messaging that is coming out of their mouth. A single message, the right message from one person can douse this tension.
They suggested steps should be taken around reducing the cost of governance by all tiers of government, affordable healthcare, and taking the message to the people at the grassroots towards better understanding and building trust. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
We're still on the nationwide protests. For the second day, some protesters converged on the gate of the National Stadium to partake in the ongoing protests. Joseph Otsen, who was at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, reports that the number of protesters were, however, less than those of yesterday and younger. Security personnel were on ground to ensure law and order and were joined by some of the protesters to ensure no one loses guard, and they made sure that there was free flow of traffic on the highway. The protest was peaceful, and at about 1:30 p.m. some of the demonstrators later left the National Stadium, moving towards the Abuja central area. All right, our first port of call is now Lagos, and they will give us reports from that zone, and it is Michael Olaleye. Michael, hello, it's over to you. And they will give us a...
Dennis, the second day of the protest in Lagos was peaceful, with security personnel continuing their duty of protecting lives and property. Larry Miller, you went around Lagos. Here's the details.
It's the day 2 of the protest here in Ojota. Unlike yesterday, the first day of the protest where things started slow, vehicular movement wasn't that much on the road. Today is quite different. As early as possible, there are vehicular movement, business, shop outlets have opened up for people. At the Plateau gate, it's devoid of protesters, but things are ongoing. For some businesses, it's going to be a long weekend. That weekend started early. But for some businesses, they are back to work. Even petrol stations are selling fuel to people in the city. At different areas that we've been to in Lagos today, it's been peaceful so far.
Meanwhile, in Ojota, the designated area for the demonstrators, amidst them is the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Adegoke Fayade, engaging the protesters, appealing to them to curb any kind of exuberance that could disrupt the peaceful protest. Security personnel were also on ground to deter any acts against the law. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
Successful military operations require strategizing and equipping of officers to be combat ready at all times. To demonstrate this conviction, a tactical exercise tagged Exercise Livewire was organized by the Nigerian Army College of Logistics and Management at the 81 Division Nigerian Army Training Area in Agility, Owode, Ogun State. Lynn Neneke, who witnessed the exercise, reports.
The Nigerian Army has been at the forefront battling the nation's security challenges. Successes is more than just bravery. It requires strategic and tactical formations that includes ensuring adequate supply of equipment and personnel are in the right place at the right time. To sharpen these crucial skills, the Nigerian Army embarked on Exercise Livewire, which is not just about physical endurance, but about fortifying minds, honing leadership skills, and mastering the arts of logistics in the face of evolving threats.
Here is the admin block, the quarter guard, and we are now in the information center where it shall be briefed.
Major General Emmanuel Anario believes that victory in the war against insurgency and other operations depends heavily on the expertise of these logisticians, their ability to think strategically, adapt swiftly, is the backbone of
Thanks for staying with us on Nationwide. We apologize for the abrupt disconnection at Lagos, but we are going back to Lagos now, where Amaka is standing by to give us an update on the situation there in regards to the protests. Amaka, it's over to you. What can you tell us?
Okay, thank you for joining us. I couldn't hear you clearly, but the protest has ended. The protest has ended. It ended at exactly 4 p.m. and the protesters have dispersed, as well as the security operatives are leaving gradually. But we must give kudos to the security operatives. They really helped in ensuring a peaceful and heat-free exercise. So the situation right here is that we can't see gatherings of persons here any longer. People with placards plying the streets, they've all dispersed. So it's ended for day 2 officially at the Ojota axis, which is one of the areas, it is the seat of the protest in Lagos. And like I said in a previous outing, that we must give it to the Nigerian police force. In fact, they've been so wonderful in ensuring that everything went and was conducted peacefully. The Commissioner of Police Lagos State was here from the beginning to the end of today's exercise. We must give it to them, and they've been so professional, and they've been that cordiality between the police and the protesters. But we must say that generally in the entire state, business activities have been crippled to a certain extent because movement of people is not as expected, and the major markets, the Dumota markets, the Tejo Show markets, they are all under lock and key, except maybe for skeletal trading business here and here taking place at skeletal level, minimal at the lowest ebb. So, but we foresee a situation whereby as the day goes by, more traders might be tempted to come out from their comfort zone to continue their businesses.
Many thanks for that update, and we certainly hope that economic activities will pick up in the coming days. Thank you, Amaka. All right, let's now cross over to Sokoto Network Center, where Sadia is on standby for reports from that zone. Hello, Sadia, it's over to you.
Thanks for joining us. 83 persons have so far been arraigned before a mobile court by Sokoto State Police Command for alleged criminal conspiracy, inciting public disturbance and mischief on the first day of nationwide protest in Sokoto State. The Commissioner of Police, Sokoto State, Aliyu Hayatu Kaigama, gave the update at the command's headquarters, Sokoto. Abdullahi reports.
From the onset, the nationwide protest started peacefully. It, however, turned violent as some of the protesters allegedly engaged in destruction of public property in Sokoto metropolis. Nigerian police, Sokoto State Command, used tear gas to disperse the protesters and apprehended some of them.
More than half of the crowd you saw yesterday were just teenagers whom we refer to as young persons, whom in the actual sense doesn't even know what they were fighting for. And therefore, we were extra patient.
The suspects were arraigned before a mobile court presided over by Justice Isa Idris Marafa. Some have pleaded guilty, while some have not. Commandant Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Sokoto State Command, Bello Alkali Argungu, says security agencies were able to contain excesses of the protesters, stressing that nobody will be allowed to break the law.
There were no leaders of the protest. We want to give them security to escort them to go and deliver their messages wherever they want to go. Those leaders are the ones we know who hold responsible if something happens.
In the meantime, normalcy has returned to Sokoto metropolis, with Sokoto Central Market opened and everyone going his normal businesses as Jumaat prayers were also held peacefully. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Establishment of the Northwest Development Commission by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a major boost for Northwest governors to tackle poverty, insecurity and other challenges faced in the region. This is part of a paper presented by a Don from the Department of Sociology, Usman Rufudi University, Sokoto, at a lecture held in Sokoto. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports.
The paper, titled The Impact of Banditry on Victims, Society and National Security Management in Nigeria, examines the causes and consequences of banditry, especially in the Northwest region. The guest lecturer, Abubakar Sokoto Mohammed, revealed that there are about 100 bandit groups operating in Northwest Nigeria, constituting between 10,000 and 30,000 militants. As at February 2022, more than 1 million people were displaced, with 1 million out of school children. Similarly, agriculture, economic activities and education had been severely affected in the region.
The Northwest Development Commission is charged with responsibility, among other things, to receive and manage funds from allocations of the Federation account and international donors for resettlement, rehabilitation and reconstruction of roads, houses and business premises destroyed by a multidimensional crisis.
Former Nigeria's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Tijani Mohamed Bande, urged governors in the Northwest Nigeria to cooperate and work together to salvage the region from total collapse.
And I would urge that wisdom must be applied by all the state governments in the region, not to wait until the constitution is reformed, but for them to work harder, be creative in getting things done.
Other speakers at the event commended the organizers of the annual lecture and called on the government to do more towards tackling security challenges in the country. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA News.
And that's the update from Sokoto for now. It's now back to Dennis in Abuja.
Thank you, Sadia. Now, the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, has visited protesters and urged them to be peaceful and orderly as the government has put in place logistics to meet their requirements. He met them at the King's Square in Benin City. Good luck in 90 reports.
Was at the popular ring road to meet with the youth who presented their demands, which include a reduction in the price of petrol, allowing for the importation of goods and a provision of infrastructure. They also sued for the immediate ban on market societies believed to be behind the arbitrary hike in the prices of commodities in the state, and abrogation of both the market and motor park touts, popularly known as Agberos. A Nigerian popular comedian, Francis Agoda, popularly known as Agodai, spoke on behalf of the protesters. Governor Obaseki thanked them for maintaining peace and promised to address their demand as it concerns the states, while those under the purview of the federal government will be relayed to the president and commander-in-chief. The governor also attended to some protesters who were at the government house to register their displeasure. In Benin, Goodluck Inaini, NTA News.
Let's head to Katsina now, where the state acting governor, Farouk Lawal, has urged citizens to embrace peaceful dialogue and constitutional means of addressing grievances. He made the call during the annual Yamush Shukr, or Day of Thanksgiving, held at the People's Square Government House. Awal Haliru reports.
The event features prayers by prominent religious leaders, including Chief Imam of Katsina, Imam Gamba Mustafa, and other notable figures. The annual Yom Shukr celebration allows citizens to express gratitude for Allah's blessings and renew prayers for peaceful coexistence in the state. The Katsina State Acting Governor Farouk Lawal emphasized the need for citizens to utilize available channels for government consideration rather than resorting to protest. He also cautioned parents to protect their children from being manipulated into causing disunity under the guise of protests. Acknowledging the current economic challenges, the acting governor highlighted the state government's efforts to alleviate citizens' suffering, including the provision of palliatives and subsidized grains and fertilizers. In Katsina, Awal Halaru, NTA News.
Well, business activities are still slow. Major roads, which are usually busy, are now deserted due to the ongoing protests in Abuja. Let's now join our business correspondent, Bosede Abel Amosun, for an update.
Economic and commercial activities are very clumsy here at Banex. Due to the protests, a lot of activities are shut down.
There's some of us that are determined hustlers that choose to come out. A lot of shops, majority of them, they are afraid. They didn't come out because of the protest that is ongoing.
But the problem is, it's not just the government this time around. This one are not the problem with we and the government. This is the problem between we and ourselves.
This is Wuse Market. We can see that compliance to the protest is at top gear. You can see lots of traders are outside, buyers are also outside, while some are trying to pave their way into the market for business as usual.
The market is very dry. I can see few people at the gates. So I pray I should get whatever I'm going to look for right now.
But so far, Abuja is peaceful as far as Busa market is concerned, and we are ensuring that everybody is secure and safe. All we are telling those who are protesting is, let there be peace. Protest is not about robbery. Protest is not about carnage. Protest is not about looting people's shop. Protest is not about stealing with what innocent Nigerians have suffered to gain.
With business activities still clumsy and the roads deserted, it is hoped that peace will continue to dominate in Abuja. Bosede Abel Amosu, NTA News.
All right, let's now head over to our Jos Network Center for reports from that zone.
Secretary to the government of Plateau State, Samuel Jato, has commended citizens of the state for their peaceful conduct during the protests. This was while assessing situation in Jos. Caleb Gochin has details.
As reports of the protest filter in from states, the situation in Jos indicates that the protesters registered their grievances in an orderly manner, as confirmed by the SGS.
We as a government actually would have preferred no protest at all, but we also feel and understand with the people. And so, of course, peaceful protest is what everybody wants, where there is no destruction, there is no looting, there is no killing. And so as a government, we are happy with that. But
the SGS says the government will continue to be responsive to the yearnings of the people, just as it has put in place measures to cushion the present hardship.
We've explained the need for peace and harmony on the plateau. Plateau has been drained by insecurity over the years. We do not need this kind of unfortunate occurrences to draw us back as a people.
He appealed to citizens to continue to pray and give all necessary support to the government to succeed. In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Jos. It's back to Dennis in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Bill Kisu. Now let's get a look at some other stories making the news. As responsible citizens, Nigerians must always interrogate every source of news, regardless of the sector the news touches, to avoid embarrassment or chaos. This is part of views of resource persons at a one-day public lecture on cultivating a media literate society, a value-driven approach to addressing misinformation and disinformation among youths. Organized by the National Open University of Nigeria, the International Media Information Literacy Institute, the Media Information Literacy and the Intercultural Dialogue Foundation, speakers opined that government should integrate media and information literacy into the school curriculum from basic education level.
So when you receive information as a young person, and indeed as an adult, as a responsible citizen, you ask yourself the basic question: who produced this? For what purpose? What's the aim? If I share it, what does it do? How is it going to help?
Whatever content you see, ask yourself, what is this content about? What are we to do with it? Of what value will it be?
Media literacy is not just about discerning facts from fiction. It is about understanding the nature of media messages, the motivations behind them, and their potential impact on our thoughts and actions.
The lecturers also believe that authentication of stories must always be done no matter who is involved before sharing. And once again, discussions on the threat of fake news to personal and national security, as well as development, takes center stage as the Conference of Civil Societies met in Abuja. The meeting, which was the second in its series, is a platform for civil society to brainstorm and come up with strategies that will help in mitigating the harmful effects of fake news and blackmail of government and non-government officials. Experts at the National Roundtable called on citizens to collaborate in nation building by fostering the culture of trust in government's policies and processes.
We are calling the Nigerian civil society genuinely is extending this hand of fellowship to all agencies, ministries and departments, private and public, that we need to work close together so that we can divulge our messages across the society and mitigate the menace of fake news and blackmail, which can destroy any country.
There are conspiracies with the strict collaboration of insiders to blackmail government agencies with a lot of half-truths and total lies. And it is time we stand up and start saying no to some of these things.
Let's now go to Niger State, where respite has come the way of residents of Borgu local government area with the inauguration of the 2.1 billion naira rehabilitation and expansion of new Busa water works. The water scheme, which is courtesy of the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission, in collaboration with the state governments, is a fulfillment of the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu, aimed at improving the quality of lives through access to potable water supply and socio-economic development. Fatima Ali reports.
For about 30 years, residents of Borgu local government area and its environs in Niger State have grappled with the challenge of accessing potable water due to breakdown of water works serving the community. The National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission intervened with rehabilitation and expansion of new Busa water works, as well as construction of 1 million cubic meters reservoir tank and 11 kVA transformer for booster station, expected to serve 60,000 households. The inauguration of this total overhaul water scheme, which got more than 2.1 billion naira with state-of-art water treatment and distribution system, equipped with modern laboratory facility for regular quality checks, chemicals and staff quarters, operational vehicles and motorcycles, is a vital step to fulfilling the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Niger State Governor and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation were both represented at the engagement.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came under the mantra of renewed hope. Now, the hope of our communities have truly been renewed by the performance of this act, because our people will now begin to enjoy potable water supply just like any other community.
The host community are ready to sustain this project.
We are committed to providing similar interventions in all the hydroelectric power producing areas development communities that have similar challenges.
With this inauguration and handover of the project, the people of Borgu community who sacrificed their land for the nation's power supply will now enjoy water supply that meets global standards. Fatima Aliu, NTA News.
Let's now pause for another break. We'll be back in a moment. Do stay with us. Let's bring you another development on the fallout of the protests. The Kano State Police Command has arrested 392 suspects in connection with violent protests in the state. Police Public Relations Officer Abdullahi Haruna Jigawa disclosed this to newsmen as the command's headquarters. Abdullahi Mustafa has details.
The protest in Kano was hijacked by hoodlums who engaged in destruction and looting. This led to declaration of 24-hour curfew by the state government and arrest of 392 suspects by the police. A variety of looted items were also recovered.
This exhibit also includes what you are seeing here today, 2 AK-47 rifles that were looted from the Abuja Secretariat High Court complexes. They were able to be recovered by the police during the arrest of these looters.
The command also investigates some social media posts questioning the arrests and recoveries made by the police.
These despicable acts are calculated attempts by enemies of the peace to tarnish the reputable image of the Nigerian police. These images showing suspects and exhibits are linked to the current incidents resulting from the ongoing August 2024 nationwide protest and have no relation in whatsoever with any incident in the year 2011.
SP Jigawa also urged parents to return to nearby police stations looted items found with their children. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
A publication that speaks to the importance of dialogue to prevent war and divine intervention on the war front has been presented to the public. Elizabeth Omori reports that the book, titled War Wonders, Memoirs of Sierra Leonean War, is authored by Brigadier General Clifford Brown Wonder.
Injuries and disability are some of the most threatening physical consequences of war. These consequences, Brigadier General Clifford Brown Wonder says, can be avoided if individuals, nations and societies learn to tolerate and respect each other. War Wonders, Memoirs of Sierra Leonean War, was written when the author was serving more than 20 years ago, recounting events in Kosa Camp and other experiences within memory lane.
When we go to war, we are faced with so many vices, alcoholism, wine. Some of them indulge in some of these things because of the war. But you can see that even without indulging in this, God can help you to avoid such pitfalls and such vices.
I will employ other women to ensure that we should constantly be praying for our husbands wherever they are, because that prayer goes a long way.
It encapsulates the importance of upholding faith and avoiding acts capable of exposing officers to dangers and tarnishing the integrity of our nation.
It takes it on the spiritual side, and that makes me see how, through my exploits in so many operations, God also was there.
A lot of benefits to the military, to the doctors, to ENT surgeons, of which he is one.
The peace book enthusiasts believe is a must-read for all military personnel struggling to overcome habits that lower reputation. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
The Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, has condemned the violent protests in some parts of the country and appeals for calm in the interests of peace and prosperity of the nation. National President of ALGON, Aminu Muazu Mefata, urged the protesters to suspend their actions. Governments at all levels are addressing their demands. Aliu Tijani reports.
The Association of All Local Government Areas in Nigeria, ALGON, described the development as unfortunate and a setback to the development agenda of government that is committed to resetting the economy, while appealing to Nigerians to give the present administration at both federal, state and local government levels more time to implement their demands. ALGON says the Tinubu administration is doing a lot to reduce cost of living in the country.
We are very much aware and understand the frustrations and grievances that have led to the call for protest, but I believe that dialogue and collaboration can yield more positive outcomes.
Citing recent Supreme Court judgment on financial autonomy for local government councils, distribution of palliatives and fertilizers, introduction of student loan, among other interventions initiated by the federal government, ALGON National President advises Nigerians to see peace and unity of the country as paramount, responsible of all. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
In other news, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, has commended the bilateral relations between Nigeria and China that have grown significantly over the years, with both nations working together to pursue common interests in addressing common challenges. The minister gave the commendation during the 97th anniversary of the founding of the Chinese People's Liberation Army at the Chinese Embassy, Abuja. He noted that the robust partnership, particularly in the area of military cooperation, training and technology transfer, have been critical to both nations, with shared efforts to build a stronger and more capable military institution. Addressing cases of human trafficking in Nigeria requires a legal framework to provide for a coordinated manner of dealing with the issues involved. This was part of issues raised in an inaugural lecture of the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, delivered by Professor Fatima Waziri Azi. Austin Anyon reports.
Professor Fatima Waziri Azi is the Director General of NAPTIP, but chosen to deliver the lecture on the topic, the interplay between corruption and human trafficking epidemic, implications and solutions for Nigeria. In her lecture, she admitted that there are enabling international, regional and national laws to check human trafficking, but this is not easy due to corruption in some quarters, citing alleged bribery of law enforcement officers, obstruction of justice, and alleged complicity of some government officials in trafficking operations.
Testimonies provided by investigators, prosecutors, victims of human trafficking, offenders, and convicted traffickers often reveal how they were induced to compromise cases.
Noting the feat achieved in the area of prosecution of human traffic offenders by NAPTIP in recent time, which shows a remarkable decline, she posited that corruption, which takes the form of financial inducement at various stages of trafficking operations, needs to be tackled.
We cannot effectively tackle human trafficking in Nigeria if we do not address the corruption angle.
Director General of Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, Professor Mohammed Tawfiq Ladan, acknowledged the impact of corruption in undermining counter-trafficking efforts and stressed the need for judicial intervention as well as political leaders seeking to protection of the security and welfare of the people.
When you have corruption creeping into human trafficking interventions or activities, or whether preventive or prosecutorial or investigative, then it distorts the national economy, it also undermines national security, and then it also completely makes nonsense of the human security and social protection effort of any nation.
The lecture series is to enable professors at the Institute share their knowledge with Nigerians in areas of their studies. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Let's now join Olumide Eguntala for updates in the world of sports.
United States of America team added 4 more gold medals on day 6 of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games to be second on the medals table, behind China, that is currently leading with 11 gold, 7 silver and 6 bronze medals. Host France occupies 3rd position with 27 medals comprising 8 gold, 11 silver and 8 bronze medals. There are 25 gold medals events Friday, the most so far at the Games. Still on the Olympic Games, African champions the Tigers have assured sport-loving Nigerians of bouncing back to winning ways on Sunday when the team takes on Canada in a must-win 3rd group game at the Olympics. The team headed by coach Rwena Wakama promised to come back stronger after losing its second group game to host nation France. Meanwhile, Minister of Sports Development Senator John Eno has extended his appreciation to the Super Falcons of Nigeria and badminton player Anolu Akpokpeyori for their commendable representation of Nigeria at the 2024 Olympic Games. The minister emphasized the importance of their participation, highlighting that qualifying and competing at the Olympics is a remarkable achievement that demonstrates dedication, skill, and perseverance. He also urged the athletes to continue working hard, aiming for greater achievements in the future. Away from the Olympics, Nigerian under-20 female national team, the Falconets, continue preparations ahead of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup, slated to commence on the 31st of August in Colombia. Coach Christopher Danjuma says the team currently camped in Abuja is showing signs of great improvement and determination to excel. The team won a string of friendly matches and are scheduled to fly out for a 2-week final camping in Colombia before their first match of the tournament against Korea Republic on the 1st of September 2024. With Sports Update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
And Sports Update concludes nationwide. From me and the production team, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your evening.